Fuck. Gonna work right there. I think I need to tilt it up a little bit like that. There we go. Nice. Looking good, babe. Don't overwork yourself. Okay. Yeah. You want me to move it? Alright, looks like nobody's here. It's all good. I've been gone for a minute, so people forgot all about me, I'm sure. Who's that guy? Dr. Bass, reverse psychologist. I don't know, that sounds sketchy. That sounds like it could be egregiously harmful. Just egregiously. The greater good was neither good nor great. All they had was bad and a bigger hate. But they create. Some people call their fate. So I guess for them it's way too late. fantasy. Hopefully, we can help them see. The greater good was neither good nor great. All they had was bad and bigger hate. And I was all like, late. Look, I got somebody who popped in here. Somebody talking. Somebody in there. Hey, what's up, Alan? Nice to see you. I've got a wrench. Let me fix you up there. Not that there's anybody to moderate, but just in case. Have you heard my song, Just in Case? It's terrible. Just in case. Just in case. You got to shelter in place. Just in case. To cover your face. Just in case. Got to stay 6 feet away from me. Just in case. 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 Time for you to go and get another jab. Just in case. Just in case. Don't you worry about those adverse events. Those are super rare and probably won't happen to you. So you better just go do what we say to be safe. Just in case. Don't you worry about the Bell's palsy. That's just part of you getting safe. And besides, you are covering your face anyway. And you're not around anyone, so nobody will know. It's okay, it's nothing to be ashamed of. At least you're safe. Don't you worry about the newscaster who fell over backwards on his ass and died. That was just a case of SADS. And you know that SADS is out there and it's coming to get you, so you better do what we say. Just in case. Just in case. Just in case. You will do what we say to be safe. You can never be too safe. You can never be too afraid. Why don't you want to be safe? Just in case. You got to swallow your defiance and follow the science. Oh yeah, just in case. Just in case, just in case, just in case. You got to cover your face, just in case. You got to shelter in place, just in case. Stay 6 feet away from me, just in case. egregiously harmful to my audience. Oh, wait, I don't have one. YouTube makes sure of that. Oh, maybe I make sure of that. This sounds terrible. They all sound like they're in tune, but listen, that doesn't sound right. Oh well. It's starting to sound a little better. Grandma likes her pills, and Mama likes her cocaine. Dad goes and gets me beers. They all think that I've changed, but I feel just the same. Only I've been away. I feel just the same. Only I've been away. Just trying to figure out what life is all about. Been trying to figure out what life is all about. And I've been trying to clear my head from all that you said. Just trying to clear my head from all that I've been trying to figure out what life is all about. Been trying to figure out what life is all about. Well, I've been trying to clear my head from all that you said, all that you said. I've been trying to clear my head from all the shit you said. They've all sold their soul for gold. Now I'm out here trying to find a better road. Now I'm out here broke and alone. I'm broke, got no money. I'm alone, got nobody. Unbuddy. What'd you do? Are you okay? What hit your face, baby? What hit you? I hate you. I can hurt myself in that. You look fine, but I know that's scary, baby. Baby, it's not your fault. That thing's a pain in the butt. I'm sorry. I'll move it. You can do lots of stuff, babe. I'm gonna say that. Baby, all these crows are flying over. They're worried about you. All these crows just flew over. Oh, hey, there's people here? Well, what the hell? Maybe I should do a show. Sorry, it was kind of an emergency. My girlfriend hurt herself. I had to come to her rescue. She's okay. It's kind of scary. She hit her face on something. Flat Earth Andy, Camellia. All right, nice to see you guys. Super Sidewinder. This is good. This is good. Jeremy Bird. Man, I love you guys. I missed you. Lord Racer. Oh, how cool. I was feeling all unloved for a second. I was being punished for the past week. Had to take my lashings. You wouldn't believe what I got censored for. It was so pathetic. Just the fact that we're getting censored is pathetic in the first place. Because, I mean, you guys know me. I'm not like some egregiously harmful. I'm so egregious. That's what they call it. They're like, your content was egregiously harmful. Like, that's kind of an exaggeration. All I did was post something. I'll probably get a strike just for talking about it. Whatever. Fuck YouTube. I posted something in the community section, where you just repost shit, on YouTube. I do a lot of that. I like doing it. It's fun. And I just posted something about Dr. John Campbell. I'm like, this guy gets away with saying all kinds of things. I mean, I was a little more specific about what he was saying, but that's what got me censored. I was like, this guy says all kinds of crazy stuff about these jabs, and I can't even sing a song about it. That was the only point I was making with my post, and then they came back fucking all, you can't do this. This is egregiously harmful. I'm like, do what? I tried to appeal it. They're like, no, we've made our decision. This is egregiously harmful. They said it twice. I'm like, dude, you guys aren't doing. This is clearly like automated bullshit. There's nobody that's looking at this. I mean, because it's like if they did, they would see that what I was saying was somebody else. This Dr. John Campbell guy. He can get away with saying all kinds of terrible things about these things that they're so careful to defend. They're so careful to defend these precious jabs. They reduce the symptoms, you guys, of an asymptomatic disease. What does that mean? They reduce your symptom of an asymptomatic disease. They reduce your symptoms of your asymptomatic disease, which means you'll no longer have those symptoms that you don't have already. Well, exactly what does that mean when you say that you're gonna reduce something that isn't even there? It's just like saying you're gonna reduce the thin air into thin air, and then it's not gonna be there, and there won't be any air left to breathe. And indeed, I think that's an apt metaphor to be using in this instance. And I'm gonna tell you, if you're an asymptomatic disease person, tell you what, your only symptom you have is that you're just alive in this waking moment right now. That's the disease you gotta reduce these symptoms for. Well, then check it out. You reduce your symptom of being alive, well, then you're dead. I guess they gave you fair warning. I'm egregiously harmful, they say. My content is so irresponsible. I need to take some time to think about what I've done. Let me think about it. What did I do? I just made that up right now, as if you couldn't tell. I do a lot of stuff that's just off the cuff, rough of intelligence. Stuff with not too much relevance. Off the cuff, rough talk of intelligence. Yeah, stuff with not too much stuff with not too much relevance. Developments. Peculiar elements, telepathic pelicans and elephants. We're all in this together telepathically. And I can tell a pathological liar from a mile away these days. So I've been working on my little children's book. So far, it's all up here, you know. But I've been the idea has been evolving, or it's just been getting flushed out, sort of. You know, I'm going through every angle, trying to make sure I'm trying to make sure I'm not missing anything here, because I think it's brilliant, and I think it's the fact that nobody gets it really yet. I think that's a good indication, because it means that, like, for one thing, it means that nobody's tried to think about it the way I'm thinking about it, and which is good, because that's a new perspective. I want to bring a new perspective to this whole thing of flat Earth. That's what I'm talking about. My book. It's a children's book. It's supposed to be a book that teaches children about greed. It's a fable about greed, but it also doubles as a educational book about living on a globe, about how the Earth is a globe. So it's an undercover sort of like truther book. You know, it's a story that's told. You know, it's about like this thing that happens to this, you know, sort of greedy, spoiled brat type kid. You know, and he just learns a lesson, but it's not the lesson in the book. He doesn't learn the lesson of like being greedy. Being greedy sucks, but he does like experience that, but doesn't realize that's what is the lesson that you learn in the book is that you live on a globe, which is what I think is hilarious. Because in the book, the character loses their mind. They go insane. I mean, I don't know if that's the best kind of. Maybe that's kind of egregiously harmful if I think about it, you know. But like, you can have people go insane in a children's book if you just do it in a comedic way, you know. I mean, look at all the Dr. Zeus shit, you know, all that shit. Patently insane. I cannot eat green eggs and ham, Sam. I am. Could you in a train? Could you if you were insane? So the book. He wrote the book. The one, the only, the special person who wrote the book. It was the knowledgeable, the special, the one and only author of the book. He wrote the book, and his name was Iculus. Yes. The book was written by the great and knowledgeable Iculus. Your children are old enough to ridiculous. So there once was a boy named Andrew, and he drew a lot of circles. Andrew circles, Andrew more circles, Andrew drew more circles than any kid's ever drawn. He won He won the concentric circle lottery, you see. The book starts off where it's like everybody's racing, every human is racing in the what is it? The final experiment. It's the human race to the North Pole. Whoever wins, whoever gets there first wins. We're all racing in this human race to reach the North Pole. And so there's some kind of symbolic sort of undertones, it's like the North Pole potentially being like the Godhead, like you know, you guys know about the Godhead. I learned about it watching a video by, what's that guy's name? Oh, man, he always writes in all caps in the chat. Oh, Jim Lotus. You know what I'm talking about? Jim Lotus. I love that guy. I wish he'd come on my shows. He probably, well, he used to, but that was like a few channels ago. I should get a hold of him there. Jim Lotus. He's awesome. I love that guy a lot. He writes in all caps when he comes in the chat. But he had a video that I watched one time, and he was talking about the Godhead at the North Pole, and he was going on and on about stuff I'd never heard before, and it was totally amazing. He was talking about like all these rivers that flow out of the Godhead, and this whirlpool, and he went into great detail. I wish I could remember all the stuff that he said. It flowed out of his mouth like it was like divine wisdom. It was insane, because the guy's a trip, dude. I mean, it was a cool video. Jim Lotus, the Godhead. I wonder if that video is still up. It's a good one. So, anyways, we're all racing to the North Pole. Everybody in the human race, first one to get there wins. So, starts out, everyone's looking at their compass. We're all going north. We're all heading there. Who's gonna win? And so this kid Andrew, he's like this. Maybe he has to cheat to win or something. I don't know. Maybe I won't even have the race in the beginning. Whatever. So they're all following their compasses. Everybody from all around the world looking at their compasses. But in the book, I don't ever want to draw any pictures of the book or illustrate any pictures of the globe, where it's like everybody on Earth, I don't want to show the whole globe, Maybe at the very end I will. But the rest of the time I want to just make it just how it is in real life, because the globe is fake. But like, I just want to have everybody like, looking at their compass, at one part, and so they're all trying to get to the North Pole first. Whoever gets there first wins. And that's the thing. It's like when the compass spins, you win when the compass spins. That's one of the slogans of the book. You win when the compass spins, and you get to the North Pole, and the compass is spinning. Woo! You win. And then the North Pole, you're like standing right on it. Starts to open up, and you jump out of the way, and it opens up. It's this rabbit hole, and this magic rabbit pops out of the rabbit hole at the North Pole. Is anybody entertained yet? The magic rabbit comes out of the magic rabbit hole at the North Pole. You win when the compass spins. Andrew's standing there on the North Pole. Compass is spinning. He's like, I won, you guys. Oh, people are leaving my video. It must not be that entertaining, actually. I'm sorry. So he steps out of the North Pole in time, because it's opening and turns into this rabbit hole, and this rabbit pops out of the North Pole, and his magic rabbit is like, congratulations! What's your name? Andrew. You win the concentric circle lottery. Do you want to play? What's that? Concentric circle lottery. I'll tell you. And the magic rabbit takes like a magic rabbit stick or something, and he draws a circle around his rabbit hole, And like this little glowing, like bling, this little magic thing happens, and he's like, there we go. He's all, when I jump back in my rabbit hole, this circle right here will be your property. Now this belongs to you. And the kid's like, oh really? That's all I win? Why would I want that? Oh, what's so good about that? And the rabbit's like, oh, but here's the rules of the game. That's just the beginning. this circle around the North Pole where my rabbit hole is your property now. But you can take my magic rabbit stick. He has like a wand or something that he gifts this kid with. You know, if take 2 steps south, circle around, draw another circle. Like you got to take 2 steps south, circle around. I'm trying to think of a good rhyme. You know, take 2 steps south, circle around from east to west, whichever is best. Now you just gain that much more land or whatever. So the kid's like gifted with this stick, you know, and he can just draw a circle, or it's a magic stick. You draw a circle around the last circle that you drew. It's concentric circle lottery. So it's also you can just keep drawing bigger circles and just having more and more properties. So just whatever you do, you just got to take 2 steps south, circle around, draw another circle. It'll be a bigger circle. You'll have that much more property. So it doesn't go in. I don't think I want to go into all that much explaining. It's just like I don't want to like really make it seem like, oh, here's what I want to do. I want to make it sort of big, where it's like take 2 steps south, circle around, and now that's your property line. And here's the rule: you only own what's inside your circle. And yeah, you can move south and draw bigger. No, I'm not going to say. It's more like here's the deal: you can only own what's in the circle. You can take 2 steps south, circle around. That's your new circle now. And so it's like that's the formula right there. Yeah, you only own what's in the circle. Okay, I've almost lost everybody in my audience, so I'm gonna go ahead and just finish my story, just out of spite. Nobody wants to hear it. Take 2 steps south, circle around. Now you have that much more property, but you only own what's in the circle. This is boring. Huh? You guys hate this. So the kid just, I don't even want to tell the story anymore. I'm over it. So the circles keep getting bigger, right? Keep getting bigger. He finally makes it down to the equator. I'm just telling a brief story. So then once he gets to the equator, and they're like, okay, great, now you own like this with the whole northern hemisphere, right? He took 2 steps south, circled around just like he always does, circled around the outside of that last perimeter he just drew, comes back as a smaller circle, which is weird enough, but this circle is going around a whole different area. So this is where the book takes a real weird twist, because when you start circling, let's say if this was happening in real life, if I just gave you a magic stick, you're going to make a circle, you own that circle, and you can take 2 steps south, circle around, and make another circle, and you can own that too. And so but you only own what's inside the circle, and you can only move south and make circles. So it's like, so the thing is, once you move south of the equator and you make a circle, that circle's going around the South Pole now. It's not like you own the entire northern hemisphere and some of the southern hemisphere now, because you only own what's inside the circle. Doesn't make sense, but that's because the globe is bullshit. But this is what I'm trying to make this story. I want the story to be totally confusing in that regard. And that's what you end up learning by the book. You live on a globe, but it's like the story doesn't make any sense. Like, because when you just think about it, like if you just start making bigger and bigger circles and just expanding more and more and more and more and more, whatever you've already circled, that's always going to be within your circle, right? Yeah, I think so. I really do. The thing is, if you live on a globe and you only own what's in the circle, now mind you, so the circles get bigger and bigger and bigger and bigger. You have the whole northern hemisphere inside your circle now. We step south and circle around, right? How are you going to get a smaller circle for one thing? And how is that circle not going to have all that stuff still inside of it? You just circled around the outside of it. But now you take a step south and you circle around again, and now you're inside the circle. See, your circle goes somewhere else now, and it's shrinking. So now you're just drawing circles within your property. Like You went from having this whole circle, the whole northern hemisphere. All you did was step south and circled around. You would think, but you can't put more area inside a smaller circle. So now that circle's not even going around that area now. It's going around all the area that's in the southern hemisphere. And you have to think about it like this. You only own what's inside the circle. It's not like you own the northern hemisphere and then part of the southern hemisphere, and the circle that you draw is, because this is what's important. It's not like you gain, like it's not like you own the northern hemisphere and some of the southern hemisphere now with a smaller perimeter. Like basically you're only circling what you don't own now. You get it? The thing is, here's the rule: you only own what's inside the circle. So you're not circling what you don't own. You only own what's in the circle. So you go from owning the entire the entire northern hemisphere, and then you make your next circle, and it's smaller, and it's not going around the northern hemisphere. Because, like I said, if you were thinking about it how you would logically, which is like, well, now you own the whole northern hemisphere and then part of the southern hemisphere. So basically, the circle that you're drawing is a circle of land that you don't own. But in this riddle that I have devised, or this story, it's like you only own what's inside the circle. So it's like, so that wouldn't work. So it's like you only, so it's like to say that, oh, well, now you're just circling the area that you don't own. No, because you only own what's inside the circle. So the logic of it really is just sort of jarring. You're like, if you try to like hear me out and just think through this with me, it's like, because it makes sense to say, hey, if I give you a magic stick, and you draw a circle, and you own that property, let's just say that it seems like whatever, you could just pretend it's magic and just be like, yeah, okay, now this could feasibly be something you could do, tell someone to do, make a circle, and then you can just step south, circle around, draw a bigger circle. It's best to start at the North Pole because it's just a good understanding of the way. It makes it easier that way. But technically, if you lived on a ball and it was all like the same, it looked all the same, like you should be able to circle out from any location, and then when you get to the meridian, halfway across the ball, then the circles have to start getting smaller, and smaller and smaller until you end up on the other end of it. But it's like with the rule being that you only own what's inside the circle, that's where it fucks up. That's where it stops making sense. Because it makes sense to think that, like on a plane, your circles are just going to get bigger and bigger and bigger. And I believe that's what would really happen. That's obviously what would really happen. Come on. Obviously, what would really happen is you start making bigger circles. All that area you've already circled, it's always going to be there within your circle. Duh. But like they want you to think we live on a ball. So after you go south of the equator, you're going to draw another circle, but it's smaller than the one you did before. And it's not circling around all that stuff that you had before. It's circling, you're working your way south. It's circling around the southern area. It doesn't make any sense. That's because you don't really live on a globe. It doesn't, that's because it's just caca. It doesn't make sense. That's the whole point of the story, is just to make people realize that it's stupid as fuck. You only own what's in the circle. So it seems like it's like, okay, that makes sense. Cool. I'll just get a bigger and bigger circle. Pretty soon I'll own everything. Not if you live on a globe. Because once you go south of the meridian, your circles start to shrink. And it's not like you own the whole rest of the ball and some of the southern part. No, because you only own what's inside the circle. You can't put all that area inside a smaller circle. That circle would technically be the circle of land that you don't own yet. But the thing is, you only own what's inside the circle. That's the rule of the game. So it would flip. It would flip to being like you went from owning everything and this except for this one spot to now you own this spot instead of everything. So it's so fucked up that it's hard to even explain. But like I want to attempt to do that with my book. I could have AI write it for me. Nobody even cares. I'm gonna go get a drink. I'll be back. instead. So that was the idea with my thought experiment. I thought I would be able to wake people up with that one, but it's so confusing that people just give up. They're just like, oh, obviously they get smaller because we live on a globe. Like people are content with that, with the proof of them living on a globe is that they live on a globe. That's the extent of the logic that people are willing to go. Whatever. So your proof of Earth being a globe is that Earth is a globe? Because I propose this, that if I said draw a circle on the ground, and now keep drawing bigger and bigger circles around it, bigger. Each time you go around, you're just doing the same thing. You're just making a lap around the outside of your previous circle. The circles get so big that like you can't even tell you're walking in a circle anymore. It's just a straight line. But it's got to still be a circle, you know. If you were to pull far enough away, you would see that it's still a circle because you started off with a circle and it's going to end with a circle. And it's like, oh, you only own what's in the circle. So it's just like, well, I'm going to own everything eventually. But that's what's fucked up about this is that if you pass the meridian, the circles start to get smaller. And now you would think, oh, well, I own everything except for that spot that's in that circle. But no, that's not the rules. The rules are you only own what's in the circle. So you get fucked up by that rule when you go past the equator. And in the book, I want the kid to go crazy. At the point where he's past the equator, he's a grown man. You know, it takes years. And it's like, and he just thinks, well, maybe if I keep going south, I'll go back to gaining land again. But then he realizes he's in his property making the circle. So he's like inside the circle now and it's shrinking every time he goes around. But he's just gone nuts because it doesn't make sense to him. He doesn't understand why it's happening. It doesn't make sense because it doesn't make sense. Because that's not what you would really see in real life, you know. It wouldn't happen like that if you only own what's in the circle. The circles are just going to keep getting bigger. It's never going to come a point in time when you flip and now you're circling somewhere else and they're getting smaller. It's never going to happen, dude. Give me a break. That's so dumb. But that's what happens in the book because in the book they do live on a globe. And that's why I want it to be a kid's book because I want the kids to read that and be like, well, that's just ridiculous. That doesn't make any fucking sense, you know? And at the end of the book, you know, the grown man finally makes it to the South Pole, you know? He's like, the circles are all small. He just realizes that he lost it all, you know? It's like, I just have nothing. I have this one circle right here. And then he feels something in his pocket. He pulls it out. It's his compass, and it's spinning again. So when the compass spins, you win. He's like, huh? Did I win again? And then he looks down, and the hole starts to open under his feet. He's like, oh, the rabbit jumps out of the way, you know? The magic rabbit pops up. He's all happy, all like just looking the same as he ever did. And the kid's like an old man now. He's all like, you know, he owned it all and then lost it all. You know, he just like went through his whole life was just making circles, and he drew circles and drew circles and drew circles and drew a lot of circles and drew that incredible expanding Andy. He expanded so far and he kept expanding and he kept expanding, but then after a while he shrank and he shrank and he shrank and he shrank. And he had shrunk all the way down to this one little circle. And now the rabbit pops out again. Hey, how are you? And it's like, I'm miserable. I lost it all. My life is just worth. I didn't do. I don't have anything. I'm crazy. Nobody likes me. He's crying like a baby. You didn't learn your lesson? What are you talking about? I didn't learn anything. I just learned that this is a stupid thing. What's my lesson? And the rabbit's like, the lesson is you live on a globe. And then it's the end of the book. And then maybe I'll show a little depiction of it on the last page or something where it's like, it shows all the circles he made, you know, and how they start to get smaller and how they're circling a different area. Because after you go past the equator, you're just circling what you don't own, right? Pretty much, because you own more than half of the thing. But the thing is, if you only own what's inside the circle, all of a sudden you'll lose all the stuff that you've been circling your whole life. And now you own this other smaller circle that's shrinking. it basically doesn't make any sense, and that's not what we'd see in real life. That wouldn't happen like that. It's just so dumb to think that it would. I mean, it's just even hard to understand why I'm explaining it. It's like people are just having a hard time understanding what I'm talking about, even. But I think I'd be able to, if I could find somebody really smart to help me explain it better. I think it makes sense, though. I don't know. Karen B didn't get it when I tried talking about it. It's weird. It's like I'd be gaslit by flat earthers. They don't understand what I'm talking about. They think I'm crazy or something. I'm like, I'm just trying to explain to you how dumb the globe is. I mean, it doesn't make any sense to think that you could own the whole northern hemisphere and then buy more property that's adjoining to the northern hemisphere. You know, say you buy like another latitude line down, you know, just that much more. So now you own the whole northern hemisphere and a little bit of the southern hemisphere. It's all one parcel though. But not so now you own more property now, but you have a smaller property line. That doesn't make any sense. Well, your property line is just circling the area that you don't own. Okay, well that kind of makes sense, but I don't think it would be on the inside like that. I think it would be on the outside. You know what I mean? Am I making any sense? Like if you start expanding out, how is the part that you don't own in the end going to be some circle on the inside of your property? It should be on the outside if there was any. It doesn't make any sense. It's because living on a globe is utter bullshit. It doesn't make sense. Living on a 3D object, a surface of a 3D object, it's something we don't experience. Like to where it all meets back up. You know, that's not what we experience. It's a pretty good trick they played on mankind. It's a pretty good trick because this reality is all we know. We don't have anything to compare it against, and it's like just to program to dial everyone's mind in, at a young age to make us all think that people could be standing on the other end of the earth upside down, from you in reference to you, to make us believe that that's something that's possible without having any evidence to show us. You know what I mean? That's such a bold claim. Like, yeah, there's people on the other end of this, on the other side of the world, and they're standing there upside down. But they don't feel upside down. They think we're upside down. So we're upside down right now compared to them. Yeah. What the fuck? No, we're not. There's nothing else that happens in reality in your life that that suggests that that's something that would or should happen. That's utter lunacy. It's like that's why I like flat Earth so much because I don't have to step outside of reality to explain my experience. I don't have to I don't have to make up just say something that's totally abstract that just doesn't check out that I don't have any evidence to support and just have to say well that's true. That's how it is. There's upside down people down there. You dig deep enough in the ground, you get to the blue sky on the other end of the world. No, you don't. That's dumb. Why would you think that? Come on, man. Well, because we've been to space. Shut it down. Next time you go there, get some good footage of the upside down people. I want to see that. You know what's funny is if the ISS, when they have it going around, you know how they have, like the live feed of the ISS. There's a lot of that feed where it shows Earth on the top view. Where it's like, you know what I'm talking about? Is anybody out there? Nobody cares about anything I say. I'm such a loser. Well, the Earth will be like in the top part of the camera. I've heard Jaronism remark about it too. I don't know if he's remarking on about it for the same reason I'm about to, but so it'll show it like that, and they're just trying to give you that idea of like, well, we're going around this ball, now we're on the bottom side of it, which is retarded because we're not supposed to think of it like that. But anyways, they'll have it like that, and it's like, so wait, what? Because you would think that they're up there, and they're going around the ball, right? So it should always be on underneath them. Why are there videos of it where it's above them and they're under it like that? What? You know what I mean? It's like it should always be under them because they're orbiting in a sense like the same way, like, I got, I'm trying explain this. There shouldn't be videos from the ISS with the Earth above them like that, because we're supposed to be going over it and orbiting over it with it constantly. They're supposed to be in a free fall around it. You know what I'm saying? That's what they claim to be doing. They're in a free fall around the Earth. So basically, they're telling you right there, they're simulating low G. They're not really in low G. They're just simulating it with a free fall. But I don't even really believe they're up there. But I'm just saying it's interesting how they have the whole thing, the way they explain that, because they say we're in a perpetual free fall around the Earth, and every once in a while they have to use their boosters to get back up to the right elevation to where they're, whatever. None of it makes sense. But I'm not all smart. I don't know. Maybe it really does make sense to smart people. See, if everybody thinks that, then who's the smart people? My point being, it should never be above them in the videos. That shouldn't be what's happening, because they're supposed to be orbiting it. It's supposed to be under them. They're orbiting it around it, and with the whole idea of like gravity and or whatever it is frame. They should never be orbiting it and have it be above them. They should always be, because you know what I mean? Because there's no upside down, right? That's what they want us to think. But all of a sudden now they're going around the Earth and it's above them in the footage. Like, that doesn't make sense. That's not how it should be. What, they're orbiting it upside down? It's not, doesn't check out. That's stupid. It kind of debunks it for me. Why do they have footage of it being with them under it? It should always be under them in the footage. Am I making sense? Or am I just weird? Who was it? Just somebody streaming, somebody cool, somebody cooler than me. Who was it? I just saw somebody who just popped up. Who was it? Hey, stupid thing. No, I can't do it. What the fuck? It doesn't work. Why doesn't it work anymore? Oh, here we go. You're not gonna let me see it? You're stupid. Alright, so Mikey Smith or no? PJ Cruikshank. Oh well. So yeah, the ISS being upside down like that fucks it up for me. I don't think that's how. There should never be any footage of the ISS being under the Earth like that, with it being above in the upper part of the frame. That doesn't make sense. They're supposed to be orbiting it with it under them, and it should always be under them because they're just going around it like that. There should never be a point where they go do, and now they're upside down. Now they're on the bottom end of it. It's not supposed to be like that. They explain it to us like nobody's upside down. You're always on the top of the ball, even if you're orbiting it. It should always be under you. There should never be a time when the ISS is under the ball. But if that's how they're going to handle it, and if they're going to do it like that, they should be able to get some good footage of upside down people and upside down planes and upside down cars driving and stuff. You would think that we would have had that by now. That'd be the best shit. I mean, I would eat that right up and be like, look at all these upside down cars driving. Look, this is great footage. They're all upside down. That's the thing that people kind of overlook a lot with this debate, It's like the most obvious thing about it all. This whole thing is so funny, dude. It's just entertaining to no end. People will argue for that. They'll be like, oh, well, yeah, we live on a ball, so of course there have to be people that are upside down. It doesn't make any sense, dude. There's nobody upside down. I want to go on a debate and just have that be my argument. Well, see, the reason I don't think the globe Earth is correct is because theoretically, if the Earth was a globe, that would mean underneath us, in reference to where we are now, there would have to be people that are upside down, and then we'd have to be upside down for them. And I think that sounds crazy. And there's no evidence of something like that ever happening in real life. We never have seen anything like that. So why do we have to think that that's what's happening? Like, it's so silly. Upside down people. Come on, man. Come on, please. Just knock it off. That's so dumb. That's so childish and silly. It's like lowbrow, fucking dumb down, fucking dumb shit, man. Nobody's upside down. Oh my goodness. Well, no, because gravity's holding it. See, that's where you start coming with this shit with gravity. Okay, now prove gravity. Well, we can prove gravity. See, things fall. No, that just proves things fall. You're trying to say that things fall because of gravity. So, so you got to prove the gravity. You can't just take the effect of gravity and say that proves it. No, that's so silly. That's so dumb. That is beyond dumb. Come on. If you're smart, you should know that. You don't take the effect of whatever it is you're talking about and say that's proof of it. It's so dumb. But that's what's being done. That's actually what's being done. That's like Neil deGrasse drops his microphone. See, there's gravity. That is dumb. To prove something, you need to prove that like it's gravity that's pulling this thing down. How are you going to do that? You can't just drop things and say, "Oh, look, it works." No. That's not. That's really dumb. It's like really dumb. But that's good enough for most people, which what really blows my mind. I guess that would have been good enough for me before I started thinking about it. Isn't that crazy? In order for you to prove that it's gravity, you would have to be able to isolate entire planets, the whole entire Earth as we know it. You have to be able to manipulate variables that are like so massive that it's just like thinking you break. It's impossible to do a scientific method approach to proving gravity. That's why we haven't proved it. That's why it'll never be proven. That's why it's pseudoscience. And it's ridiculous. And it's needed for people to believe that they live on the bottom of a ball. You know, they need to have some force that's holding them to this thing, you know. But it's like in the meantime, none of us have ever seen any evidence of something that ridiculous occurring in real life. Upside down people. Oh my god. It's so silly. And you can't prove gravity. You can't drop something on the ground and say, look, gravity's real. That is so dumb. They're saying the reason that thing fell is because of gravity. So that's the effect of gravity. You can't take the effect of something and say that's the proof of that something. No, that's not how science works. No. Because you don't know if that's what's happening. You have no way of proving that. You don't know if there's upside down people because you're always right side up. It's like this trick. It's like this fucking. It's like a cheap shot. You know, their whole thing is like this cheap trick. You know, it's like, well, nobody feels upside down. But if you were to pull way out in outer space and look, you know, pan way out, you would see that there are upside down people, but they don't feel upside down. Or just shut up, dude. It's so dumb. Go away with that. It's like Earth's a ball, just cope, flat earther. No, man. That's not a ball. It is not. Shut up. You can't just say shit. You can't just say the Earth is flat. Yes, I can. It is. Shut up. I can say our objective reality is there. Yeah, I can say that. I can get away with that. You can't tell me there's upside down people. Well, you can. You can try, but I think it's stupid. My phone's gonna die. Hey, I love you for hanging out and watching me. I'll be doing my show tomorrow like I always do, unless I got censored again.